Hello friends, this video on NEET Biotechnology is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Question number 6. Given below is a sample of portion of DNA strand giving the base sequence on the opposite strands. What is so special shown in it? Replication completed, deletion mutation, start codon at 5' end, palindromic sequence of base pairs. So let us closely observe the base sequence which is given here. So you see 5', 3', this is 3', 5', which shows that these two strands are complementary to each other. Now if you look at the sequence here and the sequence here, that also clearly shows that it is complementary. Now if you closely observe the sequence, you see if you read it from right side here, it's GAATTC. If you look at this sequence and if you read it from this side, it is again the same, GAATTC. So basically this DNA sequence reads the same forward and backward. So this is called a palindromic DNA. So therefore here it is a palindromic sequence of base pairs. So you see the same sequence. Here you have GC, here also you have GC, AT, AT, here AT, again AT. So basically whether you read it from the forward or from the backward, you have the same sequence of base pairs. Question number 7. There is a restriction endonuclease called EcoRI. What does CO part in it stand for? Now let's see how do we name this enzyme, like what each part of this enzyme stands for. So here the first letter, that is E, stands for the genus name, that is Escherichia. So this is the genus. The next two letters, that is CO, stands for coli, which is the species name. So these two together makes it Escherichia coli or E. coli. Then the fourth letter, which is R, is for the strain. So R stands for rough strain. And I, this is not basically I, this is 1, the Roman number 1. It tells us the order in which this enzyme was isolated. Like for a lot of enzymes, you might have 1, 2, 3 or so on. So that basically tells the order in which each of those enzymes were isolated. So for this question, CO stands for coli. So D would be the right option. Question number 8. Agarose extracted from seaweeds is used in spectrophotometry, tissue culture, PCR or gel electrophoresis. So what is agarose? So agarose is a polysaccharide which is obtained from seaweeds. So agarose is commonly used as a medium in the process of gel electrophoresis. What is electrophoresis? It is a technique to separate molecules under the action of electric field, like to separate molecules of DNA or RNA under the action of electric field. So that's electrophoresis. So agarose is used in the process of gel electrophoresis because agarose acts as the matrix in gel electrophoresis, or the medium, you can say. So basically the separation of the DNA or RNA molecules happens in the medium of agarose. Question number 9. Restriction endonucleases are enzymes which make cuts at specific positions within the DNA molecule, recognize a specific nucleotide sequence for binding of DNA ligase, restrict the action of the enzyme DNA polymerase, remove nucleotides from the ends of the DNA molecule. Now, what is the primary function of restriction endonucleases? So these enzymes, they cut DNA, generates restriction fragments with blunt ends. So that's the primary function of restriction endonucleases. So they actually act as scissors. So therefore, the correct option is A, that is they make cuts at specific positions within the DNA molecule. Question number 10. Stirred tank bioreactors have been designed for addition of preservatives to the product, purification of the product, ensuring anaerobic conditions in the culture vessel, availability of oxygen throughout the process. So what are these stirred tank bioreactors? So these bioreactors are cylindrical or they have a cylindrical or curved base, so that even mixing of the content becomes easy. And also it ensures that there is oxygen availability throughout. So it also has a temperature control system, a pH control system, an oxygen delivery system, and so on. So therefore these bioreactors have been designed in such a way that there is availability of oxygen throughout the process. So D would be the right option. Question number 11. Which one of the following is commonly used in transfer of foreign DNA into crop plants? Trichoderma herzaeanum, Melodyne incognita, Agrobacterium tumefaciens, Penicillium expansum. So out of these, Agrobacterium is used to insert DNA segments into plant genome. So therefore this is the right option. Question number 12. Polyethylene glycol method is used for biodiesel production, seedless fruit production, energy production from sewage, gene transfer without a vector. So what is this polyethylene glycol method? So it is often abbreviated as PEG, polyethylene glycol method. So this can induce genetic transformation in both bacteria as well as yeast. So bacteria like E. coli and yeast like Saccharomyces cerevisiae without removing the cell wall. So basically, you do not remove the cell wall of the bacteria or the yeast, but even without doing that, you are able to induce genetic transformation. So this method is called polyethylene glycol method. So it is a direct gene transfer method where DNA is introduced into the plant cells without involving biological agent. So this PEG method or PEG method falls under the chemical method of direct gene transfer. Why chemical method? Because here in this case chemicals are used to facilitate gene transfer. Chemicals like polyethylene glycol or sometimes calcium phosphate or polyvinyl alcohol. So they are also chemicals which are used to introduce DNA into plant cells without involving any biological agent. So the correct option would be gene transfer without a vector. Question number 13. ELISA is used to detect viruses where the key reagent is alkaline phosphatase, catalase, DNA probe or RNase. So what is ELISA? So ELISA is a confirmatory test which detects the presence of antibodies related to certain infectious conditions in blood. For example, HIV, syphilis, pernicious anemia. These are some of the diseases whose presence is confirmed by ELISA test. So what happens in this ELISA test? A reactant is added to cause a reaction, and that reactant is called reagent. So reagents are used to provide antigen-antibody complex, so that looking at the antigen-antibody complex, we can detect the presence of antibodies in the blood related to certain infectious conditions. So what is that reagent which is used for ELISA test? It is alkaline phosphatase. Question number 14. A mutant strain of T4 bacteriophage R2 fails to lyse the E. coli. But when two strains R2X and R2Y are mixed, then they lyse the E. coli. What may be the possible reason? So basically when you have just R2, it couldn't lyse. But when you have R2X and R2Y, they are able to lyse. So one possibility could be bacteriophage transforms in wild. It is not mutated. Both strains have similar cistrons. Both strains have different cistrons. Now, what is cistron? Cistron is a section of DNA that codes for a specific polypeptide. Right? Now, in this case, if R2 alone was used, it fails to lyse E. coli. Now, when will the E. coli be lysed? Only when there is an enzyme which is getting produced which can cause lysis of E. coli. Right? So you need to produce that enzyme. Now if R2 is failing to lyse E. coli, that means the enzyme which is produced by R2 is not capable or does not lyse E. coli. So therefore in this case E. coli is not getting lysed. But when this R2X and R2Y, both of these strands are mixed together, then what is happening? Two different enzymes must be getting produced, because if both of these have the same cistrons, then the same enzymes will get produced, right? Because same cistrons means they have the same section of DNA, therefore they will produce the same polypeptide, right? So if they will produce the same polypeptide, then they will produce the same enzyme. So if both of these strains will produce the same enzyme, in that case also it should not lyse E. coli, right? Because whatever enzyme is getting produced by this R2, that is not able to lyse E. coli. That means the enzymes which are getting produced by R2X and R2Y, they are different, and these two enzymes together, as a cumulative effect, they are able to lyse E. coli. So that could be a possible reason. So that means there is a possibility that both of these strains, R2X and R2Y, they have different cistrons. Now since they have different cistrons, they are producing, or they are coding for different polypeptides, and these different polypeptides are giving rise to different enzymes, and these different enzymes together are able to lyse the E. coli. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.